Welcome to the CEO Show. If it's your first time here, I'm really glad you found your way in. And if you've been listening for a while, welcome back. I'm Surbey. I work with service-based business owners who are capable, experienced, and deeply committed to what they do, and who quietly know they've become the bottleneck in their own growth. This show exists for one reason, and that is to help you stop running your business from urgency, pressure, and over-responsibility, and start leading it from clarity, structure, and grounded authority. Before we go any further, let me say this: if what I talk about here resonates with you, do me a favor, follow the show, share it with someone you know who's carrying too much, and leave a review when it feels right. This isn't for vanity purposes. It's because this is how the conversation reaches the people who need it. Now, before we talk about business, let's slow this down for just a moment. Let's practice just arriving, because rushed leadership always creates rushed businesses. And if you're feeling behind, scattered, or quietly heavy right now, this episode's for you. I'm going to reference tools throughout this episode. And if you want one simple place to start, download the free CEO tools at carolsurbey.com. That's it. One place. Everything else can wait. So now let's talk about what's really going on. Here's what I see all the time with smart, capable CEOs. Technically, nothing's broken. You have clients, you have a team, the work is getting done, and yet lead flow feels inconsistent. Confidence wobbles for reasons you can't quite name. Your days are full, but your momentum, it feels fragile. And there's a low-grade pressure that never really leaves. This isn't panic. It's not crisis. It's just that underlying sense of carrying far too much. What's tricky about this phase is that it doesn't look dramatic. Not dramatic enough to justify stopping. So most CEOs don't. They keep pushing, they keep reacting, they keep fixing what's loud instead of addressing what's foundational. And slowly, without realizing it, they slide out of the owner seat and back into operator mode. So that's what today is about. I want to share a real case study from a recent session. Let's call my client Mike. Mike runs a specialized service business in construction. He's experienced, he's respected. This isn't a startup story. Historically, when he's in rhythm, his close rate is super high, like around 90%. His margins are solid, and the work is good. But when we started the session, he said something really simple. The year started well and ended poorly with work. He wasn't emotional. He was just being really honest. And early in the call, something small happened. He paused to fix a cord under his mouse. Really a tiny thing, completely human thing to do. And yet that moment told me more than what any spreadsheet could. Because this is what operator mode often looks like. Not chaos, not fires, just your attention constantly being pulled towards the next small irritation, while the big things wait patiently in the background. That mouse cord became a metaphor for the whole year. Mike thought the problem was leads. I just need more leads, he would say. But that wasn't true. The business didn't need more demand. It actually needed clear leadership and some stronger foundations. So instead of jumping into tactics, I asked him something different. I asked him, what do you actually want this business to look like? Not next quarter, but by the end of this next coming year. And that is where the energy shifted. He talked about properly functioning office, less dependence on him, bringing in sales support, taking a raise after 8 years, more time off, and a business that felt intentional again. That wasn't about growth. It wasn't about leads. It was about alignment. Then I asked him what had really stopped him from getting out, meeting people, and generating those leads. He's really well known in his industry. And he said something most CEOs never say out loud. It's about me not believing in myself. That's the quiet part. It's not the lack of skill. It's not the lack of market. It's the slow erosion of self-trust. And we kept talking, and another layer emerged. When Mike talks about his work, he doesn't just talk about the specs or the materials. He talks about meaning, warmth, connection. There's something almost spiritual in how he relates to what he builds. And then he said, when I talk about that side, I win the job every time. That was the moment. The issue wasn't positioning, it was permission. And this is the shift that I want you to hear. The operator mode asks, what needs fixing right now? Your owner mode asks, what needs holding so that the business can actually move? Urgency is really loud. Intuition is quiet and complete. And when you live in urgency long enough, intuition doesn't disappear. It just gets drowned out. Mike wasn't disconnected from his business. He was disconnected from himself as the leader of it. And when the CEO stops trusting themselves, the business feels heavier, even before anything breaks. And this is where people get this wrong. They think spirituality and systems are opposites. They're not. Structure without alignment feels soulless. So we didn't talk about marketing campaigns. We talked about foundations. His website was down, and that made him invisible. Sales follow-up lived in his head, and his admin had to remind him, that's not delegation, that's emotional leakage. So before chasing leads, we anchored in the numbers, quotes, close rates, job value, margins. Systems don't restrict you. They hold you steady enough to actually be able to lead. And the truth is, if everything feels urgent, you've actually lost your center. If your team is holding your focus together, you're not really leading. If your website is down, the market's not ignoring you. It can't find you. And if you won't own your own edge, no amount of effort will replace it. So this isn't about doing more. It's about leading from inner authority instead of emotional momentum. And before you rush off, I want to leave you with a question. No homework, just opening your awareness. What are you fixing that's actually just noise? And what foundation has been quietly waiting for your attention? If this episode resonated and you want support grounding this into your business, you can start at carolsurbey.com and download the free tools and resources. That's your front door. And if this conversation feels like one you want to have more of, follow the show, share it, stay with me. We're not building hype here. We're building clear, grounded CEOs who lead businesses that actually support their lives. In the next episode, we'll talk about why delegation often fails and what needs to shift before you hand things off. So until then, slow down, trust yourself, and lead from center. I'll see you next week.